Hi, my name is Saira Raza, and I'm one of the business librarians at the Goizueta Business Library. I'd like to show you some techniques for crafting a strong search statement to get really good results when looking for articles in a database. Boolean search logic is used by some of the key research databases that you use for class assignments and career research, such as Business Source Complete and Factiva. While there may be some slight variations in different databases, the general principles are always the same. Boolean search works by applying operators to keywords, which help optimize your search results. The operators we're going to cover in this video are quotation marks, truncation, connectors, and parentheses. So with quotation marks, what we're able to do is search for phrases. So for example, if we want to look for green energy, go-to-market, or organizational behavior. These are all common terms that you might search for in a business research paper. And by putting quotation marks around it, we're telling our database to search for that specific phrase as opposed to looking for green and energy in different parts of the article. The next tool that you have, the next operator, is truncation. Truncation is used to search for various permutations of the word. So for example, strategy might be a common term you would want to use, but you could also look for strategic or strategies, a lot of different variations of that word. And by using truncation with the asterisks, in some databases it might be an exclamation point. You should check with the database to see what they use, but typically it's an asterisk. This will make your search more efficient. You don't have to type in every single word. You can just put stratege with an asterisk, and that will cover all your bases. The next operator is connectors. In this case, we're going to look at and or. Each database may have some additional connectors available, which you can look at. Usually there's a help button or a examples button to give you more. But and or are the most common. What this does, what these do are help us tell the system what relationship there is between the terms. So in this case, we want to look for articles that have both the terms organizational behavior and Fortune 500 in the text. And what this will do, if we look at this Venn diagram, it's going to bring us results that fit right into the middle part, the purple part of this Venn diagram. So articles that have both of those terms. If we use or, for example, looking for e-commerce or online sales, it's going to show us any article that has either one of these terms. So it may have e-commerce, it may have online sales, it may have one of the terms, and it may have both. The next operator we're going to talk about is parentheses. This might be familiar from algebra. What you're going to do is group synonyms and concepts together before executing other elements of the search. So for example, if we want to look for e-commerce or online sales, either one of these terms, and regulation or law. So in this case, what we can gather from the search statement is we want to find articles that are about the regulation of online sales. So we are looking for synonyms. E-commerce or online sales are similar terms. They might be used interchangeably or at least in the same context. And regulation or law, which are also synonyms of each other. Let's do an example together. Our assignment is that we're writing a paper discussing the issue of marijuana legalization as it relates to taxes. So the first thing we want to do is call out what our key terms are. And in this case, we know that marijuana is one, legalization is another, and then taxes is another term. These are all separate concepts, but that are related by this idea that we're trying to research. The next step, now that we've identified our terms, is to find synonyms for these terms. So for marijuana, here's a few examples: cannabis, weed, pot. Legalization, regulation or laws. Taxes, we might also see taxation written. But let's think about the context. We're looking for an academic article or a serious news article that's talking about a pretty serious issue related to policy, legalization, all of that. So in this case, I doubt that the kinds of sources we would use in our class assignment would be weed or pot. If we were doing something about the cannabis travel industry or that kind of thing, maybe that would be relevant, but that's not what's happening here. So we can get rid of those terms because that's just going to give us a lot of extra stuff that we don't need. So the next step that we want to do is look for opportunities to truncate and add and then connect the synonyms with or. So if we look at these words, we have legalize, legalization might be truncated to just be legalized, so that we could get legalize, legalized, legalizing, all different versions, regulated, law or laws. Now in the case of taxes, taxes and taxation have the same root, so we can just use tax and truncate it. We're going to go ahead and add the ors in between the synonyms. And now the next step, the final step, is to go ahead and add your parentheses around these groups of synonyms and connect them with and. So we can go ahead and add this parentheses around our terms that use or. And then we're adding and in between these groups. So our final search should look like this. Let's go ahead and pop this search into some databases for an example. All right, in Factiva, I have entered in the search terms. Notice that I have kept the date at 3 months. That's fine, but you have other options, as you can see here. If we click search, we see we actually have quite a few results. We have over 4,000 results. It looks like it's showing us results from other countries. Some of them are from news wires. There are some ways that we can improve this and get better results, but we are on the right track. The next database that we might try this in is EBSCOhost. This is Business Source Complete, but there are several other databases that you can access via EBSCOhost. So we just go ahead and click search. And we've got 266 results, which isn't bad. The first thing that I would probably do is change the publication date here on the side. And there's a lot of other options to narrow the results down even further if you like. And then finally, as an example, here's ABI Inform, ProQuest. If I go ahead and search for some articles, we have a lot, over 23,000. Now, what I might do next is go ahead and change my source type, because for an academic paper, I know I might want to use academic journals or potentially news articles from reputable publications, and also the publication date. I'm sure we don't need anything going back to 1942. So don't be discouraged if your first attempt doesn't get great results. Take a step back, rework your search, and if you get too many results, maybe you need to add some more specific keywords. If you get too few results, maybe you need to remove some keywords that are too specific and broaden your scope. And as I already showed you, you can also use some of the tools built into the database to narrow your results using the date, the source, and a lot of other criteria. And of course, remember that you can always reach out to the business librarians for help. So happy searching, and we hope to see you in the library soon.